My name is Connie Haden. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Haden and Haden.
You're speaking today about succession planning, but you're not necessarily talking about the older generation and planning. You're addressing a younger audience. What is the message that this audience needs to take about succession planning for their farm?
I think the main point of the talk and what we need to communicate is communication, because so many times no one knows what's going on, and so just the unexpected is really difficult for people and can destroy relationships, and unfortunately family situations can be dramatically changed by that. So we're always talking about communication. The more they can communicate on to the next generation and with their their parents' generation, the better off the plan works and the better off everyone is.
Does the conversation change when you're speaking to the generation that's taking it over opposed to the generation that is transitioning and bringing the farm to them?
It's better to have both points of view, because then the plan works better. If we've taken into account the next generation and what they need and what they want to have happen, then the plan just works so much better because it takes everybody's needs into account.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the key points and maybe tips for succession planning and making sure both parties are at the table and everybody's prepared.
Sure. I think the most important part is I generally try to meet with my clients initially and get a basic plan in place so that we have somewhere to start from, and then we can work out from there. I do like to get the next generation involved in the conversation at some point in the process, and it depends on how comfortable the older generation is with that and where they want to get them involved, because they are ultimately my clients. But having everybody around the table, it just reveals so much about what we're trying to do and what everybody needs in order to get that accomplished.
Adam Casner, Carrollton, Missouri.
When you look at some of the issues that are being talked about, one of them has been about the next generation of farmers, and you work closely with your family and work together. As you transition to the next generation into taking over, what are some of the things that you're thinking about and attending in these sessions where they're talking about those issues?
Yeah, it's a great topic here at the YF&R. There's been several sessions and several more today about succession, and there's the average age of the farmer is getting older. So not only on our farm, but a lot of other farms, it's becoming a hot topic. As the older generation moves on and the younger guys start to take over. And we're faced with a lot more issues in farming than what they may have been in the past. It's a lot more complex industry now, so there's a lot more moving parts to it. So there's a lot that goes into it, and you can take a lot of things away from these sessions of people that have dealt with this in the past, and seeing how the successful transitions work, and maybe what didn't work. So there's a lot of things to pick up from this. On our family farm, we're working on the succession deal, so it takes time and some patience, and you gotta kind of be mindful of. Like my dad, he's getting older and he's starting to turn over more and more decisions to me, and but at the same time, it's still his farm at the time being.
As you begin to make that transition and take over some of the responsibility, what are some of the biggest challenges for you, and what some of the biggest challenges as that plan happens?
There's, like I mentioned earlier, the agriculture industry has become a very complex industry. A lot more moving parts than the generations before us dealt with. We have a lot more technology, and that's a big part of our everyday farming operation now. So there's a lot of things going on with that, and trying to keep a grasp of what's going on in the technology world and keeping up to date. So that's one of the big things. That my dad's not very tech savvy, and so that's kind of been part of the succession for us is me taking over the technology. That was kind of the first move for me to move into the succession of the farm, and so from there, then start making more financial decisions. And we're coming off really good times in agriculture, and now things are pretty tight. So it's the financial decisions we make right now have a long-term effect on us. And these are exciting times in ag, but it's also challenging times, and the good managers are going to survive this agriculture economy right now. So you got to make sure that you're in the fittest position to succeed through this, the tougher times, the low commodity prices, and make sure you come out bigger, better, and stronger on the other side.
Having your dad, working alongside your dad, and the fact that he's been through this before, does that help you also to maybe learn a little bit from that older generation about financial fitness on the farm?
Yeah, and that was one of the topics yesterday in one of our seminars. The thinking process they have, like my dad's generation, they went through the 80s and they understood everything. So, that's a good point to keep in mind. They've been through this before, and that's when they become, pretty reserved. There's a reason why, and there's a lot to be learned from that. So that's something we need to incorporate into our operation, is becoming a little more reserved and making sure our bottom line is, make sure we're in the black.
As you network with other farmers your age or in that age group, do you find that you have similar challenges with other folks that are taking over and making that succession plan and transition as well?
Oh, definitely. Just like the seminar we sat in yesterday, we were talking. It's kind of funny how you think you're the only one or something, but you get in a seminar like that, and as you discuss with your peers around you, it's pretty much the same story everywhere. Everybody's have the same issues, and it's comforting at the same time, and to discuss with those people how they're handling things and what's working for them, and that kind of helps you incorporate things into your operation to make things go a little smoother, because it's in the heat of the battle and farming, it's we got to work together as a team, and if you're not, you got to make sure you're getting along with everybody, and it makes things go so much smoother, because when things are moving so fast in the spring and fall, you got to have everybody working together and be on the same page at the same time.
Sometimes it's just having some other person involved in the conversation. Often that's maybe an attorney or maybe an accountant, but it's somebody who's a buffer that can ask questions of both sides, and they're neutral. They don't have a vested interest in the answers one way or another, but that can open up the communication lines and have them think about things that they maybe really haven't thought about before.
Any challenges, legal challenges, government challenges when it comes to making sure that they have that succession plan, or is that a key to avoiding some of those other difficulties?
Yeah, there are always challenges. There's tax challenges. There's, making sure you have the proper legal paperwork in place. But stepping through those, that's our job. That we can lay the format under whatever it is, whatever plan you want to put in place, and that's where we can come in and really offer that expertise.
From Kansas City, I'm Meghan Grebner on Brownfield.